Ritika and welcome to Happens to be Vegan. Now today we are making something special for Diwali. We're going to be making my Keema Biryani. Now keema means minced meat or ground meat. Obviously I'm going to be using a mock meat substitution, but you can totally just chuck in whatever vegetables you'd like. Biryani is all about rice and spices and a lot of flavor. It's a heavy dish, it's an involved dish. As you can see, we have a lot of things going on here. But at the end, you're left with like this beautiful, indulgent, amazing dish. I don't know, I lost the words, but yeah, we've got a good one. So stay tuned, hang in there, let's do this. Okay, to start off with, I've got 3 red onions here. One of them will be used in our biryani base, while the rest will be used for toppings. We've also got 60 grams of cashews and about 30 grams of sultanas. We've also got 2 red chillies. I've got 9 tiny cloves of garlic there, but you can use like 6 normal sizes. 5 centimeters of ginger, an extra 2 centimeters which I've just sliced up thinly. Next we've got a teaspoon of cumin seeds, 8 pods of cardamom and 8 cloves, a tablespoon of garam masala and 1.5 teaspoons of turmeric. Then we've got 2 bay leaves, 2 cinnamon sticks and 6 sprigs of curry leaves. I've got 165 ml of coconut milk, pepper, which I'm going to use about 2 teaspoons, a quarter of a cup of any plant-based milk you'd like, 3 tomatoes. You can use 2 tomatoes if you get like large ones. I've got 2 very hefty large eggplants. I'm actually only going to use 1.5 eggplants. I realized it was way too much. And finally the mince, which is Herb & Sons, which is an Australian brand. If you wanted to substitute it, you could probably use 2 cups of TVP and just soak it, or you can use any vegetables like cauliflower, potato, beans, what have you. And then finally for the rice, I've just got 2 cups of basmati rice, which I have rinsed, and we'll use that later. So yeah, that's all the ingredients. And because I am a derp, I've also got 3/4 of a cup of chopped coriander. So I'm just quartering my onion here, just so it'll blend easily in the food processor. And then I'm just gonna roughly chop the chili again, so it'll go through the food processor really easily. Then I'll just roughly chop up the tomatoes. They're gonna be blended up as well into a nice paste. And I'll just take that big chunk of ginger and just chop into smaller chunks, and we're good to go. Alright, it's blending time. So we're gonna put in our red onion, our chili, our ginger, our garlic, and our coriander, and we're gonna put in 30 grams, so roughly half of the cashews that we set aside. And then we're gonna blend all of that up so it becomes a nice base. After you've set your base to the side, pop the tomatoes and the can of coconut milk into the food processor and blend it up so it turns into a smooth paste. Now I'm just dicing the eggplant here, just to show you roughly what size I cut it into. And once it's all diced, I just sprinkle a little bit of salt on it right at the end, just so the eggplant doesn't go brown while it oxidizes. And then it should be ready to chuck into the curry when we need it. It's frying time, so I've just gone in with 2 tablespoons of oil, and then I'm chucking in my cumin seeds, my cinnamon stick, just one of them, about a teaspoon of cracked pepper. I just kind of cracked this in ad hoc. Keep everything at a medium heat, and then once your cumin seeds start to sizzle, go in with your cloves and your cardamom pods. then chuck in your curry leaves, fry that up for a further 30 seconds, and then we're ready to add in the base. Gosh, look at that onion and chili and garlic and ginger goodness. That looks so good. It's important to note, because we were filming, I didn't have the exhaust on or the windows open. You definitely want like all windows and doors open. It got quite intense in the house. Both Alan and myself started coughing, so yeah, just be careful. We'll fry that up for about 8 minutes now, or until it's all softened. Once it's softened, add in your spices. I go in with about a full teaspoon of the turmeric, and I set aside half a teaspoon, and then I go in with about half of my garam masala. And then I just continue to fry that up until the spices are fragrant, roughly for another minute or so. Be careful it doesn't stick to the bottom of the pan. Once your spices are in and like everything is smelling beautiful, chuck in your mince and just carefully start to break it up. Vegan mince can go mushy very quickly, so I'm just kind of gently coating it in our spice mixture. Once the mince has started to brown, go in with your eggplant. I made the foolish mistake of cutting up both eggplants, which I really didn't need, so I went with 1.5 large eggplants. Stir your eggplant and mince mixture through for another 8 minutes or so until everything's nicely browned and evenly coated. Once your eggplant has softened and your mince looks a bit brown, go in with your tomato mixture. Now I added like another 100 ml to 200 ml of water here, just because eggplant is going to absorb that liquid real quick. So add as much water as you think you'll need. You basically want it to become a nice thick consistency. Once we've stirred through the tomato mixture and any extra liquid you've added, we're gonna cover this up and simmer for about 15 minutes. After around 15 minutes, uncover your mixture and add in the rest of your garam masala and your salt. And then we're gonna simmer it uncovered this time for about 10 to 15 minutes. Just keep an eye on it and make sure things don't stick to the base of your pan. If it does and you feel like it needs a little bit more time cooking, feel free to add in another splash of water. Once you're happy with the consistency, give it a bit of a taste. If you like the flavors, then it's done. If not, just add in a little bit more salt and whatever other spices you think it needs. Take it off the stove and set aside to cool. Alrighty, now it's time for the rice. I've gone in with about 1 tablespoon of oil, chucked in our bay leaves, our cinnamon stick, and the rest of our cloves and cardamom, and our ginger, and I'm going to chuck in another teaspoon of cracked pepper. Fry this all on a low to medium heat until it becomes fragrant, then add in your rinsed basmati rice. Stir to coat the rice in your lovely spice mixture, and then we're going to go in with about 3 cups of water. Bring that to a boil on about a medium heat, and then once it's boiling, cover it and put it down to a low heat. It should come out nice and fluffy after about 10 to 12 minutes. When the rice is done and there's absolutely no more liquid left in the pot, set that aside to cool, and we're going to go on to tempering our onions and some of the other toppings. So this is how I've sliced the onions. I'm just slicing them in half rounds. Fry up your onions in about a tablespoon of oil for about 5 minutes until they caramelize. Once they're done, just pop them on a plate and set aside. Next, we're going to go in with our cashews and sultanas. Now you want to work quickly here on a low heat because this can burn super fast. So I've just gone in with another half tablespoon of oil, and then this took about 30 seconds to a minute. Once they're all done, just again, take them out, set it aside. Next are our lovely curry leaves. So we just want them to blister, essentially. Be careful because they do splatter, so just watch yourself. And finally, we're going to fry up the rest of that turmeric. So you should have about half a teaspoon left. Fry it in like a teaspoon of oil, and then we're going to add in that plant-based milk to basically make a turmeric kind of, not paste, liquid, I guess. So turn off the heat once the turmeric is kind of browned a little bit, and then add in your milk and just let the residual heat it up and stir it through so there are no clumps of turmeric. And then, guess what? We're gonna set it aside. And we're ready to assemble. Before we do, just make sure that you preheat your oven to 180 degrees Celsius or 160 degrees Celsius if your oven is fan forced like mine. Now I've got a gigantic clean oven dish, and I'm gonna start by placing about half to 3/4 of the rice on the base. You can see it's still pretty steamy. That's not really a problem. Next, we're going to go in with our onions, probably go in with about 1/3 of our onions just to kind of layer them, create some nice distinct layers. And then we go in with our mince mixture. I put about 1/4 to 1/3 of the mince mixture here. And then we top it up with the rest of the rice and just kind of spread it across evenly so you get some nice layers. Now chuck the turmeric mixture on top of the rice so we get a nice distinct color in certain sections. Then go in with the rest of the mince. Now let's add the rest of those gorgeous onions. You can see how colorful this dish is starting to look with like vibes of, we got some pink, we got some purple. Oh, it's looking very pretty. My favorite part, cashews and sultanas. These are gonna come out like little sweet bites and little crunchy bites. It's gonna be so good. And then finally top with your curry leaves. Once it's all done and you're happy with the arrangement, cover your tray in foil and then place it into the oven for about 40 minutes. And there you have it. We've got the biryani. Now, we started cooking this at about 11 a.m. and it is now 3 p.m. in the afternoon. So admittedly, we took a little while because we're filming, but it is a labor-intensive recipe. But what you get is this like beautiful dish. Let's give this a go. Oh heck, that's good. Now I love sultanas and cashews on top. It just adds like the odd sweetness and crunch to the dish. It's spicy, it's tasty, it's sweet. It's good. We won. We did it. You want some?
Yeah.
Take your bigger spoon.
Ooh.
I know, how fancy.
It's a bit more spicy than I thought it would be.
The red chilies were hot. Red chilies are hot. Pro tip.
Yeah.
Adjust to your spice level accordingly.
Yeah. Just chucking one extra.
I mean, I could have another one. But yeah, it's good. Oh, and beware for the cardamom pods and the cloves. We didn't take them out. If you're like my dad, he hates them. So, sorry, Dad. He's mine.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know.
Roast down.
Rice is gone.